Welcome back to the deep dive. You know the feeling. You're sitting in that chair in the lobby, or maybe you're just staring at your own face on a dark Zoom screen.
Waiting for the host to let you in.
Exactly. And your palms are sweating. You're mentally rehearsing your whole life story for, what, the 100th time? It's the job interview.
It's high-stakes theater, isn't it? A conversation where every single word feels like it counts.
And the power dynamic is always so lopsided, you feel like you're on trial.
Totally. Which is why most of us either wing it or we rely on some, advice we got 10 years ago.
But today, we're doing something a little different. We found this document, a simple file called Examples for Job Interview.docs.
Sounds pretty standard.
It does, but when you actually read it, you realize it's doing something much, much smarter than just listing answers.
It's a deceptively simple file. I think if you just skimmed it, you'd miss the whole strategy. But what we're looking at is effectively a master key.
A master key for what exactly?
Yeah.
For the modern professional, it's a guide, 10 specific questions and answers that basically claims to show you how to master the interview in any job.
And that's the part that got me. Any job. We're not talking about some niche thing. This is about the fundamental operating system of a good employee.
Right. So our mission today is to decode it. We're going to unpack the anatomy of the successful candidate that's buried in these answers.
It feels like having a cheat sheet for these high-pressure moments.
Well, it is, but what's fascinating to me is that the answers aren't really about being the smartest person in the room. They're about strategy.
Okay, what kind of strategy?
It's this very specific balance between showing competence on one hand and signaling that you're low risk on the other. It's about being coachable.
Coachable, I like that. Okay, so let's jump in. Every interview starts with the setup, right? The small talk fades and they hit you with the big one. Tell me about yourself.
The question that seems so simple but is actually a huge trap. Most people just start reciting their biography. I was born in Ohio. I like to go hiking.
Right. But the source material takes a very different angle.
Hmm.
I'm going to read the opening it suggests. I am a dedicated professional with experience in your field. Then it says, I excel at managing tasks efficiently, communicating effectively, and working collaboratively in a team.
Okay, so notice what's missing there.
No history lesson. No hobbies.
Exactly. It starts immediately with an identity. I am a dedicated professional. But the real trick is that list of skills: task management, communication, and collaboration.
It still feels a bit generic, though, doesn't it? I mean, communicating effectively. Who doesn't say that?
They all do, but the context is everything. By putting managing tasks and collaboration right at the start, you're framing yourself as a solver.
Ah, so you're not just a person looking for a job.
You're a bundle of capabilities. You're setting the lens for how they have to see the rest of the interview.
You're priming them. And then it ends by looking forward. I'm always eager to learn and take on new challenges.
That's the pivot. It goes from this is what I can do to this is what I will do for you. It's a promise.
Which leads right into the next big question.
Yeah.
They know who you are, but they need to know why you're there. Why do you want to work here?
And this is where a lot of candidates sound desperate. I really need a job, or I just love your brand.
Yeah, the source's answer is much cooler. It goes, your company has a strong reputation for excellence and professional growth. I am motivated to contribute my skills and dedication to help achieve your goals while advancing my career in a supportive and dynamic environment.
Okay, there is a very specific negotiation tactic happening there. It's called reciprocity.
Reciprocity, how do you mean?
Look at the exchange. The candidate says, you have a great reputation. That's the compliment. But then they offer skills and dedication in exchange for a supportive environment.
Oh, I see that. It's not, please give me a job.
No,
It's, I have value, and I'll give it to you, provided you have the right environment for it.
precisely. It levels the playing field.
Yeah.
It signals you know your worth, but you also respect what they've built. It's a very mature answer.
Okay, so we've established the persona. Now we get into the messy stuff, the methodology, how you actually work. The source spends a lot of time on this.
This is the operating system check. They want to know if you're going to crash when the CPU gets too high.
Huh, right. So the text gives us a scenario for the challenge question. Describe a challenging situation and how you resolved it. The answer is, in my previous role, I faced a tight deadline with limited resources.
The classic.
I analyzed priorities, coordinated with my team, and implemented a clear plan.
Okay, stop there. Tight deadline, limited resources. That's the universal business problem. But the verbs are what's crucial. Analyzed, coordinated, implemented.
Sounds so clinical.
That's the whole point. It's an algorithm. First thinking, I analyzed, then social, I coordinated, and finally execution, I implemented.
So the subtext is, I don't panic, I have a process.
Yes. It strips the emotion out of the crisis. This candidate doesn't run around with their hair on fire. They default to a 3-step process. And look at the takeaway the source gives.
I learned the value of clear communication and teamwork under pressure. Even the lesson learned is about process.
Always about the process. Now, that's a specific story, but there's also a question in the text about your general state of mind.
How do you handle pressure?
Right. And the answer here is, I focus on staying organized and calm, breaking tasks into manageable steps.
There are 2 layers there, the internal state and the external action.
The internal state is calm.
But you can't just decide to be calm.
You can't. That's not a strategy. The strategy is the action, breaking tasks into manageable steps. That is how you get calm. It's cognitive load management.
That's just really good life advice, honestly. If you're overwhelmed, just break it down.
And notice what comes up again. Maintain open communication with colleagues.
Right.
When people get stressed, they tend to withdraw, to hide. The candidate in this text does the opposite. They broadcast what's happening.
Which flows right into the next question from the source.
Right.
How do you prioritize tasks? It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
The answer uses some specific words: urgency and importance.
The old Eisenhower matrix.
Yep. It says, I assess tasks based on urgency and importance and tackle high priority items first. But then it adds this little phrase: I remain flexible to handle unexpected tasks.
And that word flexible is the killer trait. You can have the best plan in the world, but if the building is on fire, the plan has to change.
So rigidity is the enemy of efficiency.
It's a paradox, right? Structured flexibility. But that is what every modern job demands.
Okay, we've covered how this person works. Now we have to talk about the question everyone hates, the one that feels like a trap, because it is.
Yes.
What is your biggest weakness?
The moment where you have to incriminate yourself, but not really.
And the source gives us an answer that, I've got to be honest, it made me roll my eyes a little at first. It suggests saying, I tend to be highly detail-oriented, which sometimes slows me down.
Oh, the classic. I care too much. I just work so hard.
Exactly. It's the humble brag. If I'm a recruiter and I hear that, I'm thinking, okay, here we go.
I agree. If you stop there, it is a cliche. But look at the rest of the answer. This is where the text actually gets smart.
Okay. It continues. However, I have been working on balancing attention to detail with efficiency by prioritizing tasks and setting realistic timelines.
So the save is in the solution.
It's in the mechanism. It doesn't just say I'm working on it, it says how.
By prioritizing tasks and setting realistic timelines, it pivots from a personality trait, which is hard to change, to a process problem, which is totally fixable.
So the real insight is turning a negative being slow into a positive about quality control, but one that you're actively managing.
Exactly. It shows self-awareness. That's what they're really testing. They don't care about the weakness. They care about how you manage yourself.
That makes so much sense. Okay, let's flip the coin. What are your key strengths? The source lists a few. Excellent organizational skills, strong attention to detail, and a proactive approach to problem solving.
Again, pretty standard stuff, but look at the second half of the answer.
It says, I work well under pressure and consistently meet deadlines while maintaining high-quality results.
See how it splits? You have the static traits, first things you are, and then you have the dynamic application things you do when it matters.
So it's not enough to just say, I'm organized.
Right. My closet is organized. That doesn't mean I can run a project. The strength is applying that skill under pressure.
We're definitely seeing a theme. This perfect candidate is defined by how they act in a storm, not on a sunny day.
It all comes back to reliability.
So we've got a candidate who is calm, structured, self-aware. Now, how do they fit in with the team? The cultural fit question.
This is where you screen for toxicity.
The source asks, how do you work in a team environment? And the answer is, I collaborate effectively by listening to others, sharing ideas clearly, and supporting team goals.
Stop right there, the very first thing mentioned.
Listening to others.
It comes before sharing ideas. That is a deliberate choice. It signals low ego. And then the goal isn't just team goals, it's shared outcomes.
Not my outcomes.
No, shared outcomes. It's democratic, but it's results-focused. Teamwork isn't just being nice. This text defines it as alignment.
That's a great distinction.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The danger zone. You can't say, I want your job, but you also can't say, I want to be doing this exact same thing.
The source threads that needle perfectly. It says, I see myself growing professionally within this organization, taking on greater responsibilities, and contributing to strategic initiatives.
Within this organization, that's the loyalty pledge. But the really interesting part is strategic initiative.
What does that signal to you?
It's a shift from tactical work to strategic work, from checking boxes to thinking about the big picture. It shows you want to make a meaningful impact, not just get a raise.
It tells the employer, I'm an investment that will compound over time.
That's it, exactly.
Okay, so we've covered identity, methodology, the audit, the future. Now it's the closing argument. Why should we hire you?
The final pitch. You have to tie it all together.
The source says, I bring a combination of professionalism, reliability, and a results-driven attitude. He continues, I quickly adapt to new environments, learn processes efficiently, and am committed to contributing positively to the team.
Okay, so you have that core triad: professionalism, reliability, results. But the other key word there is adaptability. Quickly adapt and learn processes efficiently.
That feels like the most modern part of this entire document.
It really is. I mean, tools change every 6 months. Teams get reorganized. The ability to learn processes efficiently is maybe more valuable than knowing any one specific thing.
If you hire someone who knows the old software but can't learn, they're obsolete in a year.
But if you hire someone who learns efficiently, they're future-proof.
And that final line, to contribute positively. It's so simple, but it really sums everything up.
It does. It ties the candidate's personal success directly back to the company objectives. It's the ultimate we statement, not a me statement.
So we've walked through all 10 questions. We've decoded this whole document. When you step back and look at the avatar this creates, who are we actually looking at?
It's such a fascinating profile. This perfect candidate, according to the source, is not the creative genius. They're not the disruptive innovator who's going to break all the rules.
No, they're definitely not breaking anything.
They are the ultimate stabilizer. Organized, communicative, detail-oriented, but still efficient, and just deeply team-focused. They analyze, they break things down, they stay calm. This source text is basically describing the perfect professional.
It's true. The phrasing like analyzing priorities and breaking tasks down, it's a blueprint for professional behavior, not just for an interview.
That's the hidden genius of it. If you actually do the things these answers say you do, you will be a successful employee. It's behavior modification disguised as interview prep.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to think about. We couldn't help but notice the heavy focus on process.
Deadlines, priorities, organization, efficiency.
It's in almost every single answer. So here's the question. Does this suggest that in the modern workplace this text is describing, reliability is actually valued higher than raw talent?
That is the provocative question, isn't it? We all idolize talent, the visionary designer, the rock star coder.
Right.
But this text suggests that the person who can consistently meet deadlines, remain flexible, and communicate clearly might be the one who actually gets the job.
We think companies want a superhero. But maybe what they really want is just someone who works.
Someone who lowers the collective blood pressure of the entire team. That's a value proposition we really underestimate.
Something to think about next time you're in that lobby or on that Zoom call. Being a rock star is great, but being reliable might just be what gets you the offer.
Thanks for listening.